Hello everyone. Happy Valentines to you and yours. This is the Heart Property Managers YouTube channel and my name is Winnie. A random video for Valentine. As you can see, I have a little bit of red to welcome you to the season of love, and we want to welcome you under the umbrella of real estate. So I've just thought about it, like, what if I encourage you today to make your Valentine a real estate Valentine? That means that if you're in the rural area, whether you're a man or a woman, but especially for women, because right now a majority of women are employed, they're in gainful employment. If you see many companies or many industries, you find the number of women in high positions have actually increased, and there are more and more women who are in gainful employment. So I believe investment is one of the top priorities. It doesn't matter how much you're earning, but sometimes knowledge is power. Just getting to know what are some of the opportunities that you have to invest in real estate. So real estate is said to be one of the most lucrative investment anyone can make in their lifetime. And say, what if? So many ways that you can invest in real estate. And in this segment of our real estate Valentine, I will just share some of the ways that you can invest in real estate. One of the ways is you can invest in real estate, and that means that you probably don't necessarily need to purchase a land or buy a house, but there's so many ways you can invest in real estate, and let us just go through all of them one by one. If you're new to this channel, or if you've been watching us and you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe to our channel. Yes, and we normally take you through, as registered real estate agent, what is happening in the market, and we just discuss general real estate investment options. One of the ways you can invest in real estate, which is the most talked about method, is Airbnb. So how do you invest in Airbnb? You look for a unit. If you own a house, you can decide to change it to Airbnb by furnishing it. If you own a house, a big house, and you want to sublet some of the rooms, that is also possible, especially in urban areas or even in rural areas. Most of the time, people who travel back home from diaspora or from Nairobi, when they travel to the village, one of the challenges that many people have is to find accommodation. So maybe in your village, you have a pretty nice house that you feel maybe your parents are late and no one is using it, and it is a nice house. You can decide to furnish that space and use it for Airbnb. In Nairobi or in other major towns in Nairobi, you could rent a house cheaply. Maybe it's a one bedroom, you're renting from the owner, and it's important to mention to the owner of the property that you're planning to use their property for Airbnb. Don't get into a lease to own a property, to rent a property for yourself, then you start doing business with it. It could land you in some legal trouble. So it's good to mention to the owner of the property that your intention is to use that property as Airbnb and let them consent to it. If you are planning to rent out a property from a landlord, then turn it into Airbnb. Just study the market. It doesn't matter where you are. Study the market, go online and check the availability or the scarcity of the kind of business, because for this kind of business or any kind of business, you need to feed a need. So for example, if you're in an area that there's demand for housing yet there is no available accommodation, then you can choose to rent a property, furnish it, and use it for Airbnb. You know, a lot of people do that, and maybe that is the example. If you're investing it, you want to invest for 5 years for you to realize the income from your real estate investment. It's good to sign a lease for a longer duration of time to allow you to make recovery for your investment or for your out. Wherever you are, there's always need for accommodation all over the country. So if you own a property and you feel that you don't want to live there, or there's no one using it frequently, or you feel you can actually rent a property, upgrade it, and use it for Airbnb this Valentine, and spend your Valentine sourcing or searching for such a property. The second way of investing in real estate is through subletting. So maybe it's not a very popular way, but I know that people who rent houses, especially in developed countries. I don't know much about it in Kenya, but it's coming up in Kilimani. You are alone and you're renting a 3-bedroom house. So some people rent out spaces that they're not using. So if you're alone and you have a 3-bedroom house, you decide to sublet that property, or especially if it is your own property and you feel like the house is too big, or you have a big house and you have a guest wing, you can sublet that property and earn income out of it. This would be a very tricky thing to practice in Kenya because most leases say there's no subletting. You cannot sublet someone's property when you're renting it partially or wholly, re-rent it to someone else. But if you own a property, sublet part of it and earn income. So this is the second way that you can actually invest in real estate. Or if you are owning a place or you have a home, either up country or in Nairobi, and you are forced to stay somewhere else, you can actually decide to rent the whole property, including land. People even lease out their land. If you have a piece of land, whether in a country or Nairobi, I see many people lease their land in Nairobi for commercial use, in a country for farming and agricultural use. So you can as well decide to use your piece of land or your house to rent and get income out of it. That is the second method of how you can invest in real estate. Now, the third method on how you can invest in real estate is use an online real estate investment platform, or what we can refer to Kenya as Chama. So there are people now who come together, and I've seen that a lot with diaspora Kenyans who live in diaspora. They come together and they purchase real estate through Chamas. Like right now, there are many developers who are targeting group investment. So for example, if they have a block of apartments, the groups come together and they collect money and purchase houses for each individual, maybe annually or 2 people every year. So you collect your funds. You have 1 million shilling. My friend has 1 million. We are 10 of us. We collect 10 million and we purchase a property for one of us. You bring your funds together, and mostly in chamas, or let's say if you are in an investment club, or if you're in a circle, you can come together, 3 people, 4 people, or even as a family, you can decide that you want to crowdfund and purchase real estate for each and every person. So you can target apartment units or land that is, for example, what 200,000 in up country agricultural land, 1 acre. So if you're 10 people, you just say every month each person is contributing 20,000, and you use the 20,000 to buy a plot or a piece of land for one person. Or if it is the target is to buy apartments or to buy a house, that's what happens. It's crowdfunding. You bring your funds together, and this is something that chamas can do, family members can do, a group of co-workers can do this. And I think it is important this to involve some legal paperwork on it so that no one is cheating. Also a good method because chamas have really worked wonders in Kenya. And maybe now, if you're not aware, if developers that are actually targeting low and middle income earners, and they're selling studios at 1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million, 2.3 million, one bedrooms at 3.5 million. So if you're a first time buyer and this is an area that you might be interested in, you can do crowdfunding, you can do chama and just purchase apartment for each and every individual. You can work on a 10-year plan or a 5-year plan. And so the advantage of this, that you probably will buy these properties in cash. That means you'll get a considerable discount and you'll be having the money ready. So if we agree that we are buying the affordable houses that, like for example, the one that I mentioned in the other video, you can crowd pool and decide that we are going to pay them up together. So this is a very good method. I believe it will save you from borrowing money, high interest rates, and all that. The fourth method of how you can invest in real estate is Probably buying an old house, upgrading it, and selling it. It has not been so common in Kenya, especially because, of course, we lack housing. We are still really um, struggling to meet the demand for housing. But at the same time, properties that are dilapidated can easily fetch you good money in real estate and real estate investment. So, for example, you can look for a property that the owners are selling at a throwaway price because they don't have money to upgrade it. They need more money. So, you buy such a property, use money to renovate it, flip it over, turn it around, upgrade it, and sell it and make money. That's another method. And I know there are people who do that. They look for properties that are dilapidated, the ones that the owners, I think the people who are also having desperate sales, people who are under pressure from auctioneers. Such kind of properties, if you buy a property that the auctioneers are threatening to sell, then there's an opportunity that you can negotiate with the owner at a lower price, buy the property and resell it and make some profit. You can find such kind of properties, and there are people who just love building, they love construction, so they are more into those kind of houses that since they're passionate about construction, they buy these properties, they upgrade them and they sell them. They buy them, they upgrade them and they sell them, and they make good money out of them. So that's another method that you can use to invest. And maybe this is not a method for first time buyers. What I mentioned as our number 3, the crowdfunding or Airbnb, can really be good for first time buyers or first time real estate investors. If you're investing in real estate for the first time, maybe the first method of Airbnb, renting out or partially renting out a property, or renting a property that belongs to the family or belongs to you and you're not using, can be for you. But this one for upgrading, purchasing houses and upgrading, is for some serious real estate investors who have good funding. They have enough capital. They can buy many houses, bring them down, or totally just flip them and upgrade them to beautiful units, and they also have money to market and sell them. So this is another method of how you can invest in real estate, and something you can think about this Valentine as you take a walk in the street. Don't just go for the flowers, chocolates, and wine. Take a walk and look at real estate wherever you are, and think of how you can use it to become a real estate investor. The other method is real estate investment trust. Now, this one, I think I read about it and I met them at one of the real estate conferences, that you buy shares. This one totally takes away the responsibility from you as the person who is buying. It's like you buy shares in a real estate development and through the developer, and when they develop, you earn money from the shares. So I think this is easier, but also I think it requires that you have good money to invest. The same way you buy shares from Kenya Power, KenGen, Safaricom, and all this is the same way you invest in REITs, as they're called, REITs, real estate investment trustees. So you can purchase some shares from these real estate investment trustees and you earn dividends out of it. So they invest your money and then they give you some dividends out of those investments. REITs is also another common way, but like I say, also since real estate is in heavy, intense capital investment, it requires that you invest much more money in these REITs. But information is power, because you never know. You never know. Whoever is watching this video, if you've never thought about investing in REITs and maybe you're interested in investing in real estate in a way that you are not directly involved, there's no house you own per se, but your money is being spent to invest real estate and then you earn income out of it. It's like the way people invest in money markets, but now you're investing in real estate development, and wherever the property is developed or whichever, I think you can spread your investment among many real estate investment trustees, and then from there you can earn your dividends, or you can earn interest from your investment from these developments. I think it's an area that probably in Kenya is still not so common among the common people to have the money, because real estate requires a lot of money. So some of the things or some of the methods that you can invest in real estate. And the reason why I am sharing this video is to encourage you, wherever you are, to take an opportunity during this Valentine, but to visit any real estate development or real estate property around you, wherever you are. And I mean, whether you're in rural areas or in urban areas, it is interesting just to real estate. Just go and look at a piece of land, just find out how much it cost, and think of yourself, or manifest it and think of yourself as owning. So just go and visit some of these developments that are available near you, real estate development, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a house. But yes, it is important to invest in real estate as one of the methods of investment, not the only method. And also remember that there are others that are doing better than others. From the ones I've mentioned, the 5 of them, there are many other ways that you can invest in real estate, but the others that are more beneficial, there are also the risks and the gains or the profits from investing in real estate. But generally, real estate will never cheat. Real estate is good for you. Real estate is something that will appreciate over time. Most of the time, real estate, if you buy a piece of land today at 100,000, trust me, next year it will not be 100,000. So that's the beauty about of real estate, apart from the risk that involves. Depending with your goal, I think as you go around, as you take a walk this Valentine to look at real estate the way we agreed that we are all going to look at something. We are going to, you and your loved one, or you and your friend, or you and your sister, or your family, take a walk at some of the development, or take a drive at some of the pieces of land that are being sold, and just ask the question of how much it is, what are the payment plans, and all that. Out of curiosity, whether you're working or not, whether you have a source of income or not, just do it this Valentine for the sake of self-love. This Valentine is about self. So the sake of your own self-love, just go out there and look at real estate. And if you're in a relationship, maybe this is the time you should all go and look at where do you want to live? What is your plan? What is your vision? And align this with the kind of real estate you're looking, because it's important to align your goals. Go to the location where the property that you've been admiring is at, and don't just look at it online. Go physically and visit the place. Go and visit someone who has purchased a piece of land and they built, and maybe have a conversation with them that how was it like? Because everything we want to do in life, it's one thing to think about it, but it's a totally different thing when you take the journey and say, okay, let me find out how this person did it, or how the journey can be. Go and visit that piece of land and look at it. So finally, I really would love to encourage you that real estate does not expire. Real estate does not rot. Real estate is admirable. Real estate is something you can pass from generation to generation. And the first step towards real estate ownership is go and visit the property that you want. Think about your goal of investment. A lot of people purchase property or invest in property without thinking at the long-term goal. And trust me, one of the things that I've noticed that buying land is quite easy, but selling a piece of land can be quite a tedious and long journey. So sometimes there's the assumption that if you buy land, you're having money on the side. But believe me, there's a day that will come that you need money and you have a piece of land and you will not be able to sell it. Selling land can be such a long process. And sometimes you live and abandon it to look for your funds elsewhere. So there's no automatic that when you own land, you'll automatically be able to sell it quickly and get some money. It's not the same. Buying land is quite easy. Please just be clear about your goal. Be very clear about why you're investing in that particular real estate and what are your long and short-term goals.
So thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel, like, share, and comment. We would love to bring you more content, and maybe you can also suggest to us what type of information you'd want us to share. Have a lovely Valentine. Bye!